Ryan Fitzpatrick is a quarterback who is a legend off the field as well as on the field. He's famous for his beard, erratic style, and yes, his FitzMagic moments. However, there's one thing most fans forget about Fitzpatrick. He's one of the smartest players in the whole history of the NFL. He spent 17 years in a league where athleticism dominates, and Fitzpatrick carved out a career. Not because he had the biggest arm or the quickest legs, but because he had something more valuable than that. That he had a mind that was sharp enough to outthink almost all of his defenses. But how did a journeyman quarterback with no Super Bowl rings or Pro Bowls become one of the most respected players in NFL history? It's time to break down how the intelligence of Ryan Fitzpatrick made him the smartest player to ever play in the NFL. The light of the spotlight was never Ryan Fitzpatrick's concern in his NFL career. He wasn't drafted early. He didn't throw 50-yard bombs every week to make the front pages, and he certainly didn't accumulate Pro Bowl appearances. In fact, Fitzpatrick's career was marked by what even most players do not think about: his brain. Yes, he could throw the ball as well as any of them, and there were periods when he put together a little run that suggested that he might be a star. But it was that he was able to study, to learn, and to read the game, which truly made Fitzpatrick stand out. He may not have been the quickest or strongest quarterback, but his skill at being able to read defenses and make plays from the quarterback position was second to none. So how did Fitzpatrick manage to stay in the league for 17 seasons when the league is usually more concerned with raw talent than it is with intellectual ability? Let's begin with one of the greatest factors of his success: his ability to adapt to any offense rapidly. Master of playbooks. Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't only play for an NFL team. He had 9 different teams during his career. That meant 9 completely different offensive systems. Now, you may be asking yourself, how could a quarterback who was not a first-round pick or an MVP candidate achieve success in so many different systems? The answer is Fitzpatrick's amazing ability to pick up new playbooks. Every year, Fitzpatrick would have to acclimate himself to a totally new scheme, a new coach, and a new team of teammates. However, it was his fast learning ability that gave him an edge. Both coaches and teammates were amazed at the rapidity with which he could learn a new offense. And we're not talking about basic plays. Fitzpatrick was operating complicated systems with ease, sometimes after joining a team in the middle of the season. It wasn't just a case of learning the plays. Fitzpatrick was a student of the game. He was fast reading defenses. He knew where the pressure would come from and where the open man would be. His mastery of offensive schemes made him play at a high level even when he was not a starter for a long time. He was always ready, which made him the perfect backup and sometimes starter in the NFL. The Wonderlic test, Fitzpatrick's IQ. Fitzpatrick was not only a football scholar, he was a true academic. As a matter of fact, the Harvard graduate sat for the Wonderlic test, a test that measures one's cognitive ability, such as problem solving and learning, and scored 48 out of 50. That's among the highest points ever scored by an NFL player. For background, Wonderlic is commonly used by NFL teams to evaluate a player's mental acuity. Most players score in the low 20s or low 30s, but Fitzpatrick's score was in a class of its own, and it's a testament to just how mentally sharp he is. Unlike many who depend on athleticism, Fitzpatrick depended on his mind. This mental ability helped him not only to master many offensive systems at a fast rate, but also to understand how to break down defenses with ease. It wasn't simply memorizing plays. It was about knowing why and how every play was able to counter every defense. His great IQ enabled him to draw defenses, read the field, and foresee the happenings before they occur. Mentorship, Fitzpatrick's emotional intelligence. Even more amazing about Fitzpatrick is his emotional intelligence. Unlike the typical backup quarterback who was just sitting waiting to take his turn, Fitzpatrick took to his role as a mentor. As he aged, he became the sort of leader young quarterbacks fantasize about having. A player who wanted to do more than win for himself, but instead wanted to win for others. Fitzpatrick's success was not only because of his football IQ, but also his emotional intelligence. His calm under pressure, his ability to motivate his teammates, and his ability to lead by example made him an asset to any team he was playing with. He knew the mental aspects of the game, so he was able to read defenses and anticipate plays and be unpredictable. Fitzpatrick took no fear to make a risk, and this daring move brought some of the most legendary moments in NFL history. His is a legacy of brilliance and mental fortitude. His is not a legacy of physical capability. Fitzpatrick was not concerned with losing his starting spot or being substituted. Rather, He used this experience to mentor the future quarterbacks. He tutored such players as Jameis Wilson in Tampa Bay and Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. It didn't take Fitzpatrick just to give away plays. He was teaching these quarterbacks how to read defenses, how to react under pressure, and how to control the game mentally. Such a type of leadership requires emotional intelligence. Fitzpatrick wasn't only trying to maintain his starting role, he was more interested in ensuring his teammates were prepared to take over. In an NFL swollen with egos, that sort of humility and leadership is uncommon. Fitzpatrick proved that being a great player does not necessarily mean that you should be the center of attention. It is about drawing people around you. Outsmarting defenses. Fitzpatrick's chess game. Unlike other quarterbacks, Fitzpatrick was a chess player in a game full of checkers. While evading defenders was something he used his athleticism to do, Fitzpatrick wasn't aggressively muscling anyone, he was trying to outsmart them. Fitzpatrick's weapon of choice was timing, manipulation, and disguise as opposed to brute force or cannon arm. He was able to throw to open spots on the field that the defenders did not even know of. He read the game quicker than any average quarterback, and his ability to adjust while playing made him unpredictable. It was not just that he had to get the ball to the right place, it was that he had to get there before the defense knew what was happening. Fitzpatrick was always a few or two steps ahead of everything, and that's what made him such a threat. He did not have to weed out the defense, he needed to outsmart it. FitzMagic and Fitztragic, the unpredictable genius. Of course, Fitzpatrick was known for his wildly unpredictable play. In fact, for each FitzMagic occurrence, or when he would have a fantastic 400-yard game, there was a Fitztragic throw that would have fans scratching their heads. That's the beauty of Fitzpatrick. He wasn't afraid of taking risks. He wasn't afraid to fail. And for that reason, he had some of the best moments in the history of the NFL. Whether it was a giant comeback win or a dangerous toss somehow playing out, the ability of Fitzpatrick to enjoy unpredictability meant he was a crowd favorite. And it wasn't just about the flashy moments, it was about knowing that he can make the impossible happen. Fitzpatrick was not interested in playing it safe. He was concerned about ensuring that the play would put his team in the best position to win. Ryan Fitzpatrick's career hasn't been based on raw physical gift. It was constructed on something much more important: brains. He didn't outlast the NFL by overwhelming it. He outsmarted it, outlasting it. Fitzpatrick might not have the Super Bowl ring and the long-term franchise role, but that is not what his legacy is about. He is the smartest ever to play in the NFL, not their physical gifts, but by mastering the mental part. Fitzpatrick's story is a timely reminder that sometimes brains are as important as brawn in the NFL. And as for his legacy, it's not about the stats. It's about the fact that Fitzpatrick did it his way. Smart, unpredictable, unforgettable.